Welcome to Colorado in Game 1 of the MLS Cup playoffs. The hometown Rapids are back in the postseason, hoping to pull off an upset over the Columbus Crew. Both teams wonder tonight who will spark that one moment that moves their team closer to the MLS Cup.
You can remember the past, but it may not repeat. You can prepare, but you can't predict when the moment will come. In soccer, a single act leads to victory or defeat. It can happen anytime, any way, anywhere. With one whistle, one goal, one misstep, one move, one moment is all it takes. 2 years after winning an MLS Cup, Columbus hopes 37-year-old Guillermo Barros-Schelotto still has a magic moment or two left. Back in the playoffs, after a 4-year absence, Colorado's hopes hinge on a crucial score from Connor Casey or Omar Cummings. All it takes is one moment in the MLS Cup playoffs.
What a great time of the year this is. It's MLS Cup playoff time, and it all starts tonight at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, Colorado. Columbus Crew on the road taking on the Colorado Rapids. It's one of 4 matchups going on in Major League Soccer. The other games start this weekend. We'll have full coverage of that LA at Seattle game for you on Sunday on ESPN2. For the Colorado Rapids, this is their first playoff appearance since the year 2006. As for the Columbus Crew, well, they were MLS Cup champions way back, it seems, in 2008. We welcome you to our coverage here as the MLS Cup playoffs begin with John Harkes. I'm JP Dellacamera. For the Columbus Crew, Guillermo Barros-Schelotto leads their offense. That's not the big story. The big story on defense. #1 goalkeeper Will Hesmer out of the playoffs with a shoulder injury. Andy Greenbaum becomes the man.
That's right, JP. And in the last game in the regular season, this is when it happened. Take a look right here. Will Hesmer picking it up in the 85th minute on the cross. There's a collision with Danny Kalin from Philadelphia Union. He's out. And now we have to talk about Andy Greenbaum. He gets an opportunity, very rare, because he hasn't played any MLS minutes at all this year. He's played in CONCACAF and Open Cup, but a rare opportunity, JP, to step in tonight. He's going to be under pressure. The nerves are going to be there, but the first save is going to help him settle down.
And Greenbaum has a couple of guys to worry about who play for Colorado, the dynamic strike force of Connor Casey and Omar Cummings.
Well, certainly that's on his radar, and those two have really combined well throughout this season. 27 goals between both of these players. They offer the threat in the air with Connor Casey, and also the speed of Omar Cummings in the back. Together, they combine so well. When you look at strikers, you want to always have them complementing each other, and they do it very well together.
Colorado versus Columbus. This is the first of a 2-leg total goal series. We'll have more from our guys in the studio. We'll turn things over to Max Brados, Alexi Lalas, and Brian McBride.
Thank you, JP. Yes, it's the most exciting pregame show in the building here at ESPN because you don't know who's going to show up. This week, none other than Brian McBride. Almost 100 appearances for our national team. Welcome, Brian. And, of course, Alexi Lalas always gets me out of the bed. Excited to work with you every week. But the finish line is coming up quickly here as we begin the MLS Cup playoffs. All right, Brian, your final goal in MLS, the 80th goal in quite a career. How was that in a 4-1 victory?
It was a great way to end the game and the season. And, of course, that was just icing on the cake for me.
And a very classy finish indeed. One of your former teams is the Columbus Crew. They begin the playoffs. Last 2 years, they got through to make the MLS Cup and win it. Last year, they got snake bit in the first round. How do they approach this first game in Colorado?
Well, I think they need to be cautious. I think that the most important part is to make sure you keep Colorado in front of them. They do a great job defensively with balls in the air, using their size. And on the flip side, they're going to want to counterattack. Make sure they lengthen the field as much as possible, get Schelotto the ball in a gap, and catch them that way. And I think they do a great job of making sure that their shape is good, but when they win it, they go forward with pace and cause a lot of teams a lot of problems.
Will fatigue be an issue because of the U.S. Open Cup and certainly more recently because of the CONCACAF Champions League?
I think one of the benefits they're going to get is that that's happened and it's passed. Now mentally they can prepare themselves for this playoff run. They've actually went through a tough period during that time, and they came out with 2 wins leading into this, and I think that'll help them.
All right, Alexi, a lot of people feel bad for Columbus because they have to start the playoffs.
No, nobody feels bad for Columbus. Who feels bad for Columbus?
If you know, some people, they finish second in the East, but there's only 2 points separating these two if there was a general table, so no tears. But we heard about 2 pivotal guys for the Rapids at the top of the attack, but there's another partnership just as valuable.
Yeah, when I talked to Paul Bravo, the technical director of Colorado, he emphasized this week how important the spine of the team is. And soccer people always talk about the spine right down the middle. And yes, there's Connor Casey and Omar Cummings up top, but right behind them is the engine for Colorado. Pablo Mastroianni and Jeff Laurentowicz, winning balls. They're like gnats. They just constantly are driving you nuts, pestering you, winning balls, going forward, and getting opportunities to score goals. But these 2 players are so important for Colorado in terms of winning because they are that engine that generates the momentum and the power for Omar Cummings and Connor Casey to do the damage up top.
I hate gnats. I know what you're talking about, but certainly our guest last week, Taylor Twellman, certainly felt that with Jeff Laurentowicz left New England, it was a different team. He'll be hoping to get Colorado through these playoffs. It's their first appearance since 2006. Much more with Brian and Alexi here as we get you ready for the first game of the playoffs and what to look ahead. The journey begins in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
The ESPN SoccerNet pregame show is presented by the all-new Volkswagen Jetta. It's great for the price of good. That's Das Auto.
While Columbus and Colorado square off in one Eastern semifinal, the other begins on Saturday with the Red Bulls taking on the Earthquakes at Buckshaw Stadium. The teams are meeting in the postseason for the first time and split their 2 regular season encounters this year. New York enters the series as the number 4 team in MLS in terms of goals against average. San Jose's 34 goals, the fewest among the 8 teams in the MLS Cup playoffs. In the Western Conference, there's a pair of first-time playoff matchups in the semifinal round. The Supporter Shield's LA Galaxy take on the Seattle Sounders. LA won both regular season meetings by a combined 7-1 score. Seattle looking for its first ever playoff game win after being dispatched in last year's opening round by Houston. In the other series, defending MLS Cup champs Real Salt Lake square off with FC Dallas. Salt Lake led the league in goals and goal differential, did not lose a home game in the regular season. Dallas has just 2 playoff series win in their history, the last of which came 11 years ago in Chicago. So a couple teams back in the playoffs very happy. We'll see one of them in Colorado, Dallas as well back. Possibly could be an Eastern Conference final with Colorado and San Jose. We'll see if we cross that path. But looking at this matchup here, Colorado-Columbus, we'll start with you, Brian. Who gets through tonight and who advances in the long haul?
I think tonight might actually end in a tie, but I think Columbus will get through. You know, playing in Columbus is such a great advantage, and they've been there before and actually ended up winning it there. So, and last year, I think they have a bitter pill to avenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking Colorado to get through in the series tonight. It is so important that Colorado jumps out and gets goals and gets the win here. Did you know, Max, that there have been 28 home and away series since 2003 in MLS, and only 1 team has lost their home first leg and gone on to win the series. So you have to win. If you win by 1 goal, you got problems. If you win by 2 goals, I think you're okay. You win by 3 goals, there's absolutely no excuse for not winning the series. And if you're even or down by goals, I think you're done when you go to the second leg.
That is statistical gold. I was supposed to lead you with that, but we got it in there in the end.
Sports Bureau.
By the way, whoever loses this game has 9 days to think about it because they don't play till the following Saturday. We're ready for action. Guillermo Barros Esqueloto sat out the first leg when they lost to Real Salt Lake. He'll be in there in the 11 this time. Find out who takes the win in the first leg. Crew and Rapids will get you back out to JP and John.
The ESPN SoccerNet pregame show is presented by the all-new Volkswagen Jetta. It's great for the price of good. That's Das Auto.
So often, a single act leads to victory or defeat. It can happen anytime, anyway, anywhere. With one whistle, one goal, one misstep, one move. One moment is all it takes in the MLS Cup playoffs.
Colorado Rapids Rapids are thrilled to be going back to the MLS Cup playoffs, and they get to host this first of a two-leg total goal series against the Columbus Crew, who won MLS Cup back in 2008. We welcome you back to our coverage of the MLS Cup playoffs with John Harkes. I'm JP Della Camera. We'll focus in again on the lineups and on the big story, the Columbus Crew starting goalkeeper, Andy Greenebaum.
That's right, and they're on the road with Andy Greenebaum. It's going to get tested early in a 4-4-2. Marshall and Iro have a lot of responsibility defensively to shut things down. Gavin, you'll see, sit a little bit and make those late surging runs as an attacking midfield. Lenhart and Scalotto finding the game as a free man up front. For the Rapids in a 4-4-2, Gary Smith's side with Casey and Cummings up top. A lot of stress to get the ball to them early. Mullen on the outside. Thompson, the only change from last week, comes on the left side as a starter. And then Laurentowicz, Mastroeni holding down the forward in the central part of the midfield. They have really joined together well this year as a central midfield.
Fans in Colorado looking for a great way to start the playoffs with a win in the home leg. Next week they'll have to deal with the road part of it. Time now for Harkes' Corner. First edition here in the playoffs, presented by Continental Tire.
Well, for me, Eddie, Gavin, I'll tell you, look at these guys when they run through from the midfield. But Rentoreri, the passing combinations that open up the game, their short passing style is excellent. When we talk about some of the service that's coming from the Rapids and the finishing of Cummings and Casey up top, it's coming from Anthony Wallace as a left back, and last week, Kimura, the right back. And those are providing great service in, so keep an eye on that tonight as well.
Here's our Gatorade Prime to Perform players. Tonight we'll focus, John, on two players, not one.
And Eddie Gavin as attacking midfielder in there. Jeff Laurentowicz teaming up to shut him down. We'll see the late surging runs that Eddie Gavin does so well as a central midfielder. But Jeff Laurentowicz, what a huge pickup he was this year coming from the Revolution. Excellent player in the central midfield position. He and Pablo Mastroeni have to shut down.
And right before kickoff here in Colorado, we'll take a look at the rules. Remember, it's a home-and-home series. It's total goals. If you're tied after the second leg, there's that extra time scenario. We don't have to worry about that until next week. And road goals, unlike other competitions, don't count as anything extra. It's just total goals, period. Ready for the playoffs, the MLS Cup playoffs to begin. On the referee's whistle, we are underway. Jair Marufo, man in charge of this. On the far side of the field, Sean Francis for the Columbus Crew. There in the yellow, burgundy colors belonging to the Rapids playing at home. Robbie Rogers picks it up. And that'll go out of play. Ball belongs to the Rapids. The 37-year-old Guillermo Scalotto, certainly a player to watch, not just for our viewing audience, but most definitely for Colorado.
No, he's done well. 9 goals, 8 assists this year. He always has that free roll, JP. Very creative, excellent touch on the ball, and he sees things early. Great vision.
Scalotto trying to play that one forward. Mullen will try to track it down. Came over to trade late in the season with the Houston Dynamo. Very good pickup.
A huge pickup. Veteran player in the wide position, 32 years old. He's back at home. He feels comfortable here.
Rapids will move it up to the left. Wells Thompson played it back. That's Wallace. Back for Drew Moore, who played every minute this season in that central defense spot, to Marvell Wynn. Really a converted right back. You might see Wynn play some more at right back, but for now, that is his position. If we see him play on the right side during the playoffs, it's because of a matchup strategy that head coach Gary Smith wants. Rogers tucking it in for Gavin. Rogers again looking inside for Scalotto. A miss hit there by Moore, but he had some help from Marvell Wynn.
Already we see here in a handball, but already Columbus Crew on the road, taking it to the Rapids. And the Rapids like to drop off and counter. We've seen that throughout the season, JP, especially with the threat of Cummings up front and Connor Casey. But getting lots of numbers back behind the ball because the Columbus Crew dictating the pace early.
Robert Garcia, the head man of the Columbus Crew. He was an assistant when they won that MLS Cup in 2008. Assistant to Ziggy Schmidt, who we will see Sunday when Seattle hosts LA in the first of a 2-leg total goal series. Throw-in coming up here for the Crew. It's Haydock. Gavin battles there, goes out of play. Frankie Haydick again with a throw-in, 36-year-old. It was flicked by Schelotto. Questions as to whether or not that entire ball was out. Apparently not. Chad Marshall back on it. Last 2 years, he was the MLS Defender of the Year. Iro, far sideline. Francis to Rogers at the halfway line. Gavin, touch back. Carroll. And finally, it's turned over. Kimura on the right. All the way back to Drew Moore. Rapids played better than Columbus down the stretch. The last 10 games, Colorado had a winning record at 5-3-2. Columbus had a losing record. Here's Wallace tucking it in for Connor Casey. Tackle away. The follow-up there from Wallace. A little bit more than shoulder to shoulder, says Jair Marupo. Free kick, Rapids.
Well, a little bit of a hesitation from Chad Marshall. I thought he could have come and won that 50-50 early. He dropped off and it gave space for the Rapids to come forward. And here's that last play as it goes into the corner. Anthony Wallace pushing forward from the left back position, trying to create things. There's the foul from Ekbo. Not needed, especially on set pieces, JP. You know you have the aerial threat of a Connor Casey, and you also know that Omar Cummings is sniffing in there. Keep an eye on Laurentowicz, too, central midfielder.
Wells Thompson sent it into the box. It's cleared away. And it'll go out of play. It still will belong to the Rapids. Tied for second in MLS in goals scored, with the Galaxy trailing only Real Salt Lake. And that's largely due to that dynamic duo we talked about in the open, Casey and Cummings. Taken away this time by Marshall. He'll lead it. Halfway line, Schelotto. Schelotto, probably the toughest player in the field to mark, John, because you don't know where he's going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You always have to be alert. Your awareness as a central back or even an outside back, because he goes in between the seams, JP, and it makes it difficult to defend. And when he occupies that attention, it opens up space for the other striker, like Steven Lenhart.
Rogers by the corner flag. Holding, crossing. Lenhart back from a one-match suspension to Schelotto. Far side, Ekbo. The Nigerian international will come back. Lots of speed and skill. Showing it there. The shot is deflected. It should be the first corner. This is also one of the strengths of the Columbus Crew.
Well, the attacking presence of Colorado has not been there so far in this game. It's all been Columbus Crew. And they're putting the Rapids on their back foot, JP. A lot of defensive caution so far early in this game.
Schelotto will take it.
And we mentioned set pieces before. Chad Marshall is a huge threat, as well as Andy Iro, the number 6. Keep an eye on those two, 14 and 6, coming forward from the back position.
11 of Schelotto's last 12 assists have come off of set pieces. 6 from free kicks, 5 off corners. There's a chance there, but it's cleared away. Still going to belong to Columbus, and Frankie Haydick is going to come over to take the throw-in. Frankie's dealt with some injuries this year. Only played in 20 out of the 30 games. Knocked away from Gavin. Still Columbus ball. They get it in quickly. Brian Carroll. He gave it right away. Laurentowicz first touch, looking long. Knocked away. It's a good thing Francis broke that up, because Omar Cummings was headed for the open spaces. Rogers. Outside, Francis. Schelotto played it back. Carroll in the middle. To Marshall. And that long ball is too long. It goes out of play.
Now, just before that giveaway from Marshall, you see the exchange of passes that have really lent so much success to Columbus Crew. Robert Varzia and the staff, they always keep possession well. When you look at the Crew, you know they're going to hold it. So, trying to dictate the pace away from home, JP. It's very important to have that posture.
Casey kept it on the ground for Cummings. Marshall, great job, 1v1. Knocked it out for a throw-in. 14 goals this year for Omar Cummings. This is Kimura, knocked away. It was Marshall getting it for Gavin. Gavin named the team's most valuable player. Here's Casey looking, shooting, it's blocked. Good block from Andy Iro, but it's picked up by Mullen. Cuts inside. Mullen, the chip. Oh, Hayden gave it away. Mastroeni didn't have a crack at it. Hayden at the end line with a cut across. Carroll.
To get out of jail, free card there from the Columbus Crew. Poor form from Frankie Hayden. His technique, there's no reason for him to reach up with the outside of his right. Should be clearing that ball left-footed, getting it out of danger. Just hook it out of danger. There's no way to take a chance like that.
It's Columbus ball. We remember last year, John, when the MLS Cup playoffs began, there was some controversy with the lineup of Columbus. Guillermo Barrascolotto didn't play in the first leg, and everybody was talking about that. That was the move that Robert Barzilla made as the head coach a year ago. He played in the second game and scored a couple of goals, but they were eliminated by Real Salt Lake.
That's right. It was very risky, and also you remember Alejandro Moreno, who played for Columbus at the time, was sitting away from home in the first leg. So taking no chances now. You would like to think that Columbus learned from that experience.
Wallace. Left side, Thompson. He will hold it there. Pushing it back. Switched by Laurentowicz. What a year for Jeff Laurentowicz. 4 goals in the season. He and Mastroeni keying things there in the middle. Cummings to his feet. In the box. Casey! Was that one pass too many? Should he have shot it? It was hard to criticize. Those two work so well together.
Well, you see when you get Omar Cummings with that space, you think he's going to strike it. He's on an angle. So it's an acute angle there. Here's a great ball in behind. Chad Marshall keeping him on side. And the Iro on the wrong side of the ball. And he puts it across. And Connor Casey, he doesn't have all the pace in the world that Omar Cummings does, but I thought he would have slid in for that. Could he not slide for that ball, JP? I think he could have. Could be an opportunity gone by. You don't want it to haunt you. Early in the game, it could have been 1-0 up.
Mentioned the big story, Andy Greenbaum in goal for the injured Will Hesmer. Gary Smith, winning record since coming to Colorado. 3rd year here, 2nd full year in charge. He's got to make sure his team is focused after last week when they had a 2-0 lead against Real Salt Lake, John, and in stoppage time gave up 2 goals. Players, we were told, were angry, not disappointed after that game. But how do they recover tonight after just a few days?
Well, they should be disappointed because they were 2-0 up against the defending champions. They played so well against Real Salt Lake. But the game is cruel. And Pickens, uncharacteristically, made a mistake of holding the ball too long. He was pressured. Savarillo scores that first goal. Then they get the penalty like 2-3 minutes into extra time. End up drawing 2-2. They can't be disappointed too much, though, JP. It is against a very solid team. And that's the way the game goes.
Omar Cummings with it. Real Salt Lake gets to play Dallas playoffs. Here's Mullen, end line, cutting it. Mastroeni lays it out. Quick shot block. That was off Kimura. Back upfield. Finally, Columbus will get some possession. Lenhart to the right side. Hayden has some space. Ekbo. Ekbo and Rogers will switch sides in game. Francis all the way upfield. The knock from Schelotto. Gavin. Back outside. Schelotto with it. Led the team in goals and assists in just about every other offensive category. It's deflected out for another corner kick. Schelotto surely will take this one as well. Columbus has scored 5 goals this season off of corner kicks. Marshall and Iro with 2 tall targets going after it. Schelotto drives it, punched away. Thompson didn't get it, knocked back in by Carroll, but it's wide of Pickens.
Well, you mentioned the 2 big guys coming from the center back position forward, in Marshall and Iro, but also Steven Lenhart. He's a threat. He tries to challenge here at the near post. Pickens does well just to stand strong. Gets 2 hands on it. Here it is again. There's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving in there tonight.
2 physical teams. Matt Pickens, formerly with the Chicago Fire, had a very good season. I guess, picked the worst time for his worst mistake of the year.
Yeah, but
against Real Salt Lake.
A bad time, but also a good time. You don't want to do it in the playoffs,
Yeah,
right?
true,
It costs
true,
them.
true.
It's a knockout situation.
True.
So learn from it and move on. Very good goalkeeper. He's had a great season this year for Colorado.
Wallace for Casey. Look at the way they read each other. Cummings is in. Flag is up, though. The flag is up.
Well, that was very close. And you see the space that Connor Casey is getting. The number 9, he peels off the back line, picks up that ball, and he slips an excellent weighted pass in behind to Omar Cummings. Assistant referee calling it offside. It was very close. And here it is again. That's the space right there that Connor Casey, yeah, and he is just off. Very little bit, he is just off. Good call by the assistant referee.
Haydick from Marshall. Haydick sends it. Scalotto nods it down. Ekbo carries it. Tries to go outside. Wallace stood him up. Nowhere to go for Ekbo, and he lost it. Wallace was another good pickup. They did some tinkering with this roster. Wallace came in a trade. Marvell Wynn, Mullen, McConjie came in a trade. All during the season. Last year they picked up Drew Moore.
A lot of changes this year, and Jeff Laurentowicz, I think, has really solidified that central midfield with Pablo Mastroeni.
He came in the offseason.
Excellent player. Does his work, you know. JP shuts things down. There's Pablo.
Down the sideline, Drew Moore. And he just cleared that out for safety.
Colorado Rapids' gain is New England Revolution's loss when Laurentowicz moves over. Also, Wells Thompson coming in. He's been productive, very versatile. Used him in a lot of different positions this year for the Rapids.
ESPN's MLS Game of the Week is brought to you by Continental Tire, innovative technology, driving confidence. Wallace will have a throw-in for Colorado. Towards Casey. Haydick picks it up. Brian Carroll trying to knife his way through. That's blocked. Thompson tried to keep it in. Knocked it off Haydick, apparently.
I think the complaint from Frankie Haydick was that the ball already went out.
Wallace. Driven upfield. Is off Mastroeni. Right between the bench areas. Haydick will have a throw-in right in front of Gary Smith, Colorado's head coach. Lenhart trying to flick it forward, knocked away by Drew Moore. Iro and Casey go for it. Iro won that in the air. Gavin was held by Laurentowicz. Pushed back. Carroll switches. Sean Francis tapping it left. Rogers. Francis. Gavin played it over to the left. Rogers looks for room in the sideline. Not much there. And apparently even less. He lost it.
And we see already that matchup, Eddie Gavin and Jeff Laurentowicz battling for that position in the midfield in the space. We talked about that as a Gatorade primed to perform players in the open, but something to keep an eye on. That's the matchup tonight. Who's going to win that battle?
John, where do these teams have an advantage? How will Colorado win this? How can Columbus win this?
Well, I think with Cummings and Casey and the attacking strengths that they both have for the Rapids, they've really finished so many goals for them. They've got to get the service into them early. For the Columbus crew, it's being disciplined away from home, JP, learning the lessons from last year, which they lost. You know, they went away to Real Salt Lake and lost, but also finishing their chances. When the opportunities come, they've got to bury it.
First of 2 legs, total goal series. But Columbus has come out pretty strong, pretty aggressive. Pickens with a distribution to Wallace. Anthony Wallace bringing it up slowly out of the University of South Florida, down the left wing to Cummings. Marshall's on him. The entire ball wasn't out. Cummings keeps it. The Jamaican international looks for Casey. Those two guys are constantly looking for one another. Playing together the last few years, the relationship has really blossomed on the field. Wells Thompson, back for Laurentowicz. Great idea. but it bounced away from Kimura. English Premier League action returns Saturday morning. Blackburn takes on the defending champs Chelsea. That's at 9:55 Eastern Time. The EPL is presented by FIFA Soccer 11 on ESPN2.
See Kimura taking his eye off the ball there just for a split second. Should have taken that ball out of the air. A good switch by Laurentowicz. That opens up the game quite a bit for the Rapids.
Wells Thompson starting for Jamie Smith, who is injured. That's really the only change that they made from last week. Columbus had to make a change, 2 changes, because of injury. Renteria out, Lenhart in up top. Greenebaum replacing the injured Will Hesmer in goal. Greenebaum said yesterday, John, that he was going to be very anxious, hoping that that first save or maybe an interception of a cross would get him in the game. He hasn't been tested so far.
No, he hasn't. And, you know, you saw him come off his line quite quickly when Omar Cummings was put in behind. It was an offside call by the assistant referee, but still, he was ready and alert. But once he gets that first save, the confidence, and then he'd be able to dictate the pace and rhythm from the back.
I think he wanted to get that earlier, though. Opening minutes. Mastroeni for Casey. Another switch. A little bit slow on that one, but Colorado gets it. Kimura. He thought Cummings was going one way. He goes the other. There's Andy Greenebaum in goal. Replacing the injured Will Hesmer. Sending it forward. Lenhart with a knock. Hayden for Carroll. Francis. In for Gavin, it's too far. This Wynn's pass knocked away. Columbus looking for it. Wynn getting stuck in. Mullen's pass picked off. Scalotto, and the offside flag is up on the Columbus crew.
Getting a bit sloppy on both sides there, giving the ball away too cheaply. A little bit lucky Colorado Rapids that Robbie Rogers drifted into an offside position. There's Robert Varzija.
Let's take a look at the Dick's Sporting Goods League leaders. It shows you how valuable Will Hesmer's been to the Columbus crew. Most wins for goalkeepers since 2007, by 6 actually over Pat Onstad and a little bit more over Nick Raimondo. And again, Hesmer played every minute in goal this year, except for 5 in that last game against Philadelphia when he was injured. Here's a chance wide.
Already you're seeing the threat of Omar Cummings. He's getting some good service. And Andy Iro having a tough time staying with him. His eye on the ball, and he lets him drift in behind, doesn't clear it all the way. And he doesn't get a clean strike on it, Omar Cummings, but when he does, he is lethal. That is a threat that you're going to have to be concerned with throughout the evening. If you're a central defender, keep an eye on Omar. I wonder how long he's going to be in this league. A lot of interest overseas.
Has to be offers for him.
Yeah,
has to be.
Solid player. He's really matured this season. Not just a goal scorer, but making good decisions and passing and feeding, complimenting guys up front.
He's the only Rapid starter to be drafted by the club. Everyone else came a different way. Many by trade. Laurentowicz, one of them. Long for Mullen. That's going to go out. Gavin touching it back. 22nd minute, scoreless here. First of a 2-leg total goal series. Back, cleared by Pickens. Hitting Gavin on it. Gavin still chasing. Francis under heavy pressure from Cummings, who took it away, and then he paid a price. Foul, though, on Francis.
Well, you see the work rate that Omar Cummings puts into it. And it's encouraging from a coach's point of view. You always want the strikers to work hard and press the ball, make play predictable as much as you can.
Kimura is ready to take this. Mullen getting closer. The shot deflects. Hayden, it's deflected. Greenebaum That's a touch for him.
Well, again, Frankie Haydick, with all the experience he has, he's a U.S. international, and he's reaching to clear the ball with the outside of his right foot across his body. It's something that you teach youth players all the time. Just swing it, hook it out left-footed, and he can avoid any problems that, you know, really almost fell to the back post and an easy chance for the Rapids. He knows better.
Gavin, back forward. Iro, intercepted, Mastroeni. Mullen, nice ball. Cummings with Casey making a run. Mastroeni joining him. In for Casey. Mastroeni. 1-0. Colorado, the captain, has scored.
Well, it's a very late run. Here's the ball out wide. The run's diagonally from Cummings, and Casey been threatening all night. Excellent ball in, just misses Connor Casey, but a very important run to the near post. He distracts the goalkeeper. He throws everybody off. Watch Andy Greenbaum. He has to go to the near post, and there's a late surging run from Pablo Mastroeni. And Brian Carroll, number 16 from Columbus Crew, fails to stay with him. The captain comes through strong, and there's the first goal at home in the playoffs. The first time in 4 years since 2006. And they start off in the 24th minute with a goal. We're 1-0 up.
Captain scores his first ever playoff goal, leads by example. Rapids are up in this first of a two-leg total goal series. We'll see what that does to the game now. Schelotto thinking about it from distance. Nice ball inside. The flag is up, though. Columbus is offside. What a terrific idea. And I thought a nicely weighted ball.
Well, again, just the transition and how quick Columbus can get that ball moving and forward. See the space for Schelotto. And I thought he's very deceptive on the ball. He looks like he's going to shoot. He fakes it, but he puts him behind. But just going back to Pablo Mastroeni, really picking up his game. And, of course, it's sharing that responsibility in the central part of the midfield with Jeff Laurentowicz. But excellent run. Very late run coming forward.
It's interesting that he made that run. He's more of a stay-at-home defender, but he saw that space and went for it. In case he knew he was coming.
They do have a great understanding between the two, the pulley system. When I go, you stay. And if I feel like, you know, staying, I'll give you freedom to go. And understanding has really played out well for the Rapids this season.
Robert Casey, a big factor in this one. As it goes towards Lenhart. Blasted away by Kimura. Well, they have a foul going. Let's see, no, throw in. Signal was for a throw in. We have an injury. Kimura is down on the field. He missed 6 games earlier this year with a stress fracture.
Well, the Japanese player, Kazuki Kimura, comes across very well from the right back position. He has to cover. It's kind of at the last second finding space. Steven Lenhart almost going through there, JP, to goal. Looked like just a 50-50 type of clearance. Again, just another angle here. High-end shot, deep from the other opposite end of the field. Great ball, and the run to the near post is so important. You have to get across the front of the goalkeeper. You bring a defender with you that opens up the space to the back post. Frankie Haydick does not tuck inside as a right back. And the runner, man, he just goes through Pablo Mastroeni. He's happy. But Brian Carroll got to stay with him.
He's played the most games in Colorado Rapids history, 286 during the regular season. 13th year in the league, 9th year with Colorado, and no longer really a part of the USA international pool, which may have helped him this year to play as many games as he did. He played in 29. That's high for him.
One of his last games that he played for the U.S. was in Giant Stadium. You and I covered that game against Argentina. And he, being an Argentinian descent, man, what passion and pride he had putting the U.S. uniform on against Argentina. He played very well that game.
Casey using his strength, pushing it back. Laurentowicz. Kimura apparently okay on the right for Mullen. Mullen for Cummings. Cummings wide. Inside, Casey! Wow, that was on frame. It could have been 2-0.
Well, the game has changed right away. You remember early on, JP, Columbus Crew dictating the pace, short passes, keeping the ball very well. And now you see these inside-to-out runs that are really boding well for the Colorado Rapids. That ball should have been struck on goal for Connor Casey. He knows it, but you gotta see, how much as the game goes on too. What does the altitude, how does that play in? Or maybe the fitness of certain players makes a difference, I think.
And Ekbo cross, deflects. Rogers overran it.
Totally casual from Robbie Rogers. How does he misread the ball that much? You see it bouncing. I think the instinct is, can I get there and catch it on the volley? If I can, drop off and let the ball come down, shield it, and keep possession.
Crew still have it by the corner flag. But not for long. Rapids ball deep in their own territory. They have a 1-0 lead on a goal in the 24th minute by their captain, Pablo Mastroeni. MLS Cup playoffs beginning tonight. A couple games on Saturday, another one on Sunday. We'll have that LA at Seattle game for you here on ESPN2. Gavin with that pass. All the way back. Iro in some trouble. You have Connor Casey on you. You better move that ball away.
Well, that's the pressure you get from the strikers. I said the work rate from both of them, Cummings and Casey, is going to be there all night. The ball kind of takes almost a dead spot, the way it doesn't bounce properly. He was going to head it back, Andy Iro. Then he hesitated and he had to clear it quickly. Very lucky he did. Just in time, get that ball out.
A Kimura throw-in, far side of the field. Rapids with the lead here at home. First of a two-leg total goal series. Cummings denied by Francis. Still Colorado's ball and another deep throw-in. They get it into Wells. Thompson turning. Thompson looks, trying to get to the end line and cross it, and lost it there. Andy Greenebaum put it back into play. MLS Cup playoffs continue Sunday. ESPN2, LA Galaxy traveling to Seattle to take on the Sounders in game one of that Western Conference semifinal. It's Halloween night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN2. Expect to see 36,000 on Sunday in Seattle. Offside at the other end. Colorado's ball. Half hour gone. John, your thoughts on the way this is unfolded?
Well, the game changed dramatically there when they got the goal. Colorado Rapids, they were on the back foot in the beginning. Columbus dictating the pace, but once they opened up the game there by scoring that goal, Pablo Mastroeni, now you got to see how Columbus reacts. I mean, do they really get after the game and try to get that equalizer before half? Or do they have enough patience to play the match out throughout the second half and get it late in the game?
Mullen back to Laurentowicz. Deflected to the right. Nice run by Kimura. He's free to cross it. The header by Cummings is wide. Well, now Colorado are really getting some chances.
No, this is what I've talked about early on. The service that's coming in from the outside backs tonight. Kimura with a good ball here. It just kind of skims off the top of Marshall, and it leads himself to an open Omar Cummings. He can't direct it on goal, but it's a threat. Anthony Wallace has been coming forward quite a bit from the left back position too.
Thompson to Mullen. Mullen has been a part of 4 MLS Cup winning teams in his career. Kimura to Laurentowicz. Nice flick right. Thompson. The cross, back post. Not close to anyone in the Burgundy. And it'll go out of play. Belongs to the Crew, and Frankie Haydick is over there for the throw-in. Age 36, 11th year in Major League Soccer, 7th with the Crew, a 6-time All-Star. Wearing the captain's armband, throwing it in for Gavin. Taken away by Wallace. Iro covers that ground, up for Ekbo. Skeleton. He got muscled down by Mullen. Here's Laurentowicz. He'll fire from distance, and Greenebaum makes that play. You've got to watch Laurentowicz from distance. 10 goals he scored from outside the 18 over the last 4 years. Only 2 other players, Landon Donovan and Chris Rolfe, have matched that over that same period.
Yeah, Drew Moore doing a very good job, JP. Number 3, stepping up high on Steven Lenhart, not giving him the space to flick balls on or take it down and look to link up with the midfielders. Good understanding between the two center backs so far with he and Marvell Wynn.
Laurentowicz leaves it off. Kimura. Back and forth they go. Then it's given away. Carroll, Lenhart. Steven Lenhart looks, going forward, leaves it, give and go, is intercepted by Kimura. For Wells Thompson. Started out wide left, now he's on that right side. He and Mullen have swapped spots. Casey. Nice move by the big man. Taken down. There's no foul. There's not even an advantage call as Cummings cuts. Omar Cummings looks. Still has the ball. And in the end, didn't have enough of that pass. The physical play continues. Mullen wins it. Haydick goes in after it. Mullen, the winner, bouncing it in. It'll be a goal kick for Greenbaum.
Well, I thought there was an initial foul there on Connor Casey. He was arguing for it, but the referee wanted to play on. But you saw the skill of Omar Cummings, the way he picked that ball up. He took on 2-3 players, had them isolated, frozen in their own tracks. Did not get the shot off, though. That's what he was hoping for. Casey doing some good work from outside in the wings, coming forward into the middle.
Drew Moore knocked it back to Pickens, who saved that one from becoming a corner kick. It'll be a throw-in for the Columbus Crew. In the 35th minute, only goal scored by Pablo Mastroeni. The Rapids captain scored in the 24th minute. His first playoff goal.
You and I were talking, JP, yesterday about, you know, just how these teams got here, and fatigue has to be a factor with the Columbus Crew. They've had a lot of games in a short period of time, some injuries. Robert Varzia balancing quite a bit, and then not winning games towards the end of the season kind of set them off a little bit in terms of their rhythm. But good result against Philadelphia Union. They needed that. And a good result in the CONCACAF Champions League against Joe Public away.
Scalotto's pass too far for Rogers. It's deflected back.
It's a bit risky from Marvell Wynn.
One mistake, and that changes everything.
I don't think any coach will say, hey, yeah, I want you back heeling the ball as you're facing your own goal.
They're happy with Marvell Wynn here, though, as a central defender. Played as a right back everywhere else. Joined the team late, as head coach Gary Smith asked him if he'd feel comfortable going in at that center spot. If he'd ever played it, he said he'd never played it before, but he thought he could, and the rest is history.
Well, there was a learning curve there as a central back, and just putting himself in good spots in positional sense. Here's a great ball from Connor Casey, linking up with Cummings again.
Omar Cummings dances around Francis to Casey, the back heel. Maybe a bit too fancy there. Wells Thompson is over for it. Laurentowicz for Kimura. Into the box for Casey. That's up there, and Greenbaum makes the grab.
Great seal and work from Cummings, and he looks to bring this ball back. He doesn't give a really good ball into Connor Casey. It bounces up on him. He tries to swing at it. Again, the threat is there. The counterattack is very quick in terms of moving that ball, Colorado.
I don't know if any two strikers have better chemistry in this league than Casey and Cummings.
I agree.
Lenhart trying to knock it. Colorado sends it the other way. 0 shots in better than a half hour. That's not going to get it done. They haven't found Lenhart in the air. That's the strength of the team. Colorado's not really fouling deep in their own territory, so we're not seeing the free kicks that Columbus took advantage of against Philadelphia last week.
But also, too, if you're going to give a free roll, almost like a second striker to Scalotto, he's got to be a little bit more productive. He's not getting on the ball. He's getting muscled out of position. There's Scalotto right there.
Right side of the field, cutting. Mullen in the box. Looked like he stumbled. That was misplayed by Columbus. Got to be sharper there in your own box. Casey gets it back. Columbus must defend again. Laurentowicz. Kimura going out wide against Rogers. End line. Still has the ball. And it's finally blasted up, and it's deflected. I think if Greenbaum touch it, it's going to be a corner.
Wow, question marks, very suspect in the back here for Columbus. Kimura doing an excellent work of just trying to get around the backside of the player. There's Robbie Rogers trying to defend. He gets a second look at it because he shows the ball a little bit too much, but the clearance here deflects off of his own player, and Andy Greenbaum cannot hold on to that. He should have really got a hold of that ball. Leads to this corner, but the threat from Colorado is picking up even more towards the end of this half.
Thompson from the corner, back post area. Into the middle, the bicycle kick was denied. It's still loose and out, cleared away. All the way back. Pickens is up for it. Wallace to Laurentowicz. He'll drive it wide. Look at that.
Excellent ball.
To Thompson. Trying to sneak around Robbie Rogers. He's in the box. Thompson goes near post and inside netting.
Very casual defending from Robbie Rogers. He's been asked to drop back in a deep position there. Players are kind of out of sorts and off balance. As he fills in here, Wells Thompson gets a little bit of a lucky bounce around him, but goes to strike it. And the deflection off of Iro. He intervened at the last moment. It leads to this corner.
Second one for Colorado. Thompson. Driving it again, same spot, that back post area. Too far away for Brian Mullen. Still belongs to Colorado as Columbus knocked it out.
Columbus really getting sloppy at the moment, JP. They need to focus. They can find themselves 2-0 down.
Driven in for Drew Moore, a bit too high for him.
Well, this is a great ball. Brian Mullen putting in huge amounts of work. Just over Drew Moore. What an excellent pickup, as you said. So many of these players were doing well at other clubs. Picked up throughout the season to make a huge impact here for the Rapids. Brian Mullen talked to Dominic Kinnear a week or two ago. Said he was sorry to see him go, but it's a trade that worked out for each of the clubs.
Mullen. Can Kimura catch this? Yes, he can. The cross for Casey. Couldn't get it. Deflects out. Mastroeni. Colorado winning all the second balls. Here is Cummings. Trying to go inside. Thompson. Taken away. Ekbo. Pushes it up towards Leonard. Wells Thompson is back on him.
Again, Drew Moore, number 3, who's on the ball right now, stepping forward, stealing that ball from Lenhart. Lenhart's got to do a better job of being big and holding it up, shielding, bringing players into the game. Be responsible. Not getting it right now, Columbus.
Kimura pushes it back to Marvell Wynn. Former Toronto defender. Gave that ball right back, but now here's Casey. That was a gift. Shoulder to shoulder a little more. No foul on either player's call. Here's Mastroeni pulling it back. Pablo still has the game's only goal. To Wallace, 42nd minute. Mastroeni back for Drew Moore. Laurentowicz. Marvell Wynn. His dad, a former Major League Baseball player by the same name years back. Laurentowicz gave that one away uncharacteristically to Marshall. Francis over the top. No one really available up top. Matt Pickens will roll it ahead. Roll to the left to Wallace. Coming up at halftime, we'll head back to the studio. Max Bretos, Alexi Lalas, and the recently retired Brian McBride. Talk about the Western Conference and playoff preview. And John Wall with Washington making his NBA debut. Marshall knocks it out of play.
You see, if there's always going to be that threat when he makes those diagonal runs to Omar Cummings with the pace he has. But the pressure needs to come from the outside midfielders and Columbus Crew. And they're not closing down the outside backs enough of the Rapids. So they're getting freedom to pick their heads up and serve the ball.
Cummings turns. Head on the swivel. Outside, Kimura. Mullen. Wallace thinking about it from distance. That's blocked. Deflected out by Ekbo.
Well, it's a bit ambitious from Wallace, I think, from that distance also. Didn't have the momentum coming forward. Service in the box was needed.
Laurentowicz to Wallace. Oh, Ekbo gave it away. Another corner kick. Third one.
Great movement off the ball from Colorado right now. I think Columbus Crew, at least at halftime, is going to have to talk about their defensive responsibility, staying with the man.
These fans are happy the playoffs are back. First time for the Rapids in 4 years that they've been in the playoffs. Sent by Thompson, headed away by Lenhart. Remember, the last 2 years it was Real Salt Lake on the final day of the regular season that took away Colorado's chance to get to the MLS Cup playoffs. Not this year, they clinched the spot earlier. 44th minute, Laurentowicz. Kimura intercepted. Marshall. Carroll turns against Mastroeni. Lenhart. Tackle away. They're going to call that on Lenhart against Laurentowicz.
You see the confidence just building in Colorado. You know, getting that goal by Pablo Mastroeni in the midfield was huge. Gave a big lift. They've done so well here in Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Good season, Pablo.
Laurentowicz way out wide. Mullen, that's blocked. Mullen will pick it back up. Cummings in the box. He has Casey too. Connor Casey holds it. Waits for help. It's there. It's Wallace. Inside, deflected away. Casey's so patient with the ball.
Right, it's good touches as well for a big man. See Anthony Wallace coming forward out of the back. Head coach Gary Smith giving them freedom to go when they see the game. Have that confidence. Don't hesitate. That's what's making a difference right now for the Rapids.
Back to Matt Pickens in goal. Drew Moore holds to Wallace. 1 minute added on here in stoppage time. Casey with the flick. Given right back to Colorado. So many giveaways tonight for Columbus. Here's Mullen. Maybe one move too many. Iro stripped and Cummings was open on the far side.
Well, he was screaming for the ball. You're right, JP. It was a bad turnover again from Iro. He wasn't really under that much pressure. He's got to deal with the ball better.
Lots of things for Columbus to try to work on in the second half. Ekbo ran into trouble. Wallace back upfield.
Very good confidence from Anthony Wallace, young player. Coming back from injury, he's made a huge difference in that left back position.
Casey thought Wallace was closer to him. He was not. Time is running out in this first half. A good performance by the home side. Hayden from Gavin. There's Lenhart. And that last touch failed. But that time the flag stayed down.
Well, it was a great ball by Frankie Haydick over to the top, but end of the half now, JP.
End of the half, and Pablo Mastroeni, the captain of the Colorado Rapids, has his first playoff goal, and that's good enough to give the Rapids the lead here at home. 1-0 is your score. The Rapids over the Columbus Crew, the first of a two-leg total goal series. Right now, it's time to turn things back to our guys in the studio, Max, Alexi, and Brian.
Welcome back now to our halftime studios, along with Brian McBride and Alexi Lalas. The Columbus Crew with the look of a team that may have seen the altitude get the best of them. We know it's much more than that, but they're down 1-0. Could have been worse, as we'll take a look at the highlights. And Colorado knew that they want to come out and score. And Brian, that's exactly what they did. A very aggressive outlook right from the get-go.
They did. They got the ball through, and Pablo ran onto a ball that Connor made a near post run to and finished it. There's plenty other chances too. I think the crew are very fortunate to go in down only by one.
We saw that partnership work out very nicely, Alexi, and the wide play also very evident.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the goal. Omar Cummings doing that inside-out run. And here's where you question a coach. Here's where you question tactics, because this isn't something new. We've seen this time and time again. He starts in the middle, he goes out wide, and Colorado is very, very good at finding his feet. Now, when that happens, if you're Columbus, you have to say during the week, this is what happens. This is what I want to happen. Obviously, you have to block the cross. Are you doubling down? How's it happening? Because right now, Columbus is not dealing with Omar Cummings when he does that inside-out wide move, and it's something that's been around for a long time, so this is not a surprise.
What do we see, Brian, from Columbus? Their legs aren't really there. What changes do they have to adjust to here?
Yeah, they're late to the ball. I think one of the biggest changes, right now they've got to figure out a way to get out to Mullen. Right now, Francis is actually clearing that space, and like Alexi pointed out, those balls are just going down the channel, and Cummings is coming on to some free space. So they've got to figure that out. Then, you know, I think they need to possess the ball more, but when they do win the ball, the clearances have to be a lot better. Everything seems to be scuffed. When they're scuffed, they're falling right to the feet of a Colorado Rapids player. Secondly, when they do win the ball and the clearance comes to a midfielder, they need to go quickly. Catch Colorado out. Don't let them get back in their blocks.
Columbus not looking comfortable at all, but they have a second half to remedy things. We'll see if they can get it. Colorado, by the way, no longer a Western team, but we'll preview the Western semifinals coming up next. The LA Galaxy, the Supporter Shield winner, will look to ride that wave all the way to MLS Cup 2010. More to come after this. What to watch for the MLS Cup playoffs Sunday at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Landon Donovan and the Supporter Shield winning LA Galaxy head north to Seattle to take on Steve Zakuani and the Sounders in the first leg of their Western Conference semifinal. The Galaxy won both regular season meetings, outscoring Seattle 7-1 in those two games. And also in the West, the first leg of the semifinal series between defending champion Real Salt Lake and FC Dallas kicks off Saturday at 5 Eastern. RSL hopes to join DC United in 96, 97, and Houston in 06 and 07 as back-to-back MLS Cup winners. Dallas, meanwhile, in search of its first playoff series win since 1999, and they're just happy to be back in the playoffs. Wonderful job done there by Shellis Hyman. But let us start in the Emerald City. Seattle hosting LA. LA impressive as they take the Supporter Shield, but this Seattle team, most people out there feel they're the most dangerous right now in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, first off, congratulations to Los Angeles for winning the Supporter Shield. They deserve credit. They're not going to get enough credit for doing it, but it is important. Now, on to the playoffs. This is a dangerous, dangerous series for LA. I'm picking Seattle. I think the speed that they have right now, especially with Zakuani out on one side, Niasse on the other side, it's going to be major, major problems for Los Angeles. The fact that Los Angeles won both games during the regular season means nothing, because in this league of parity, the pendulum swings back. And for Seattle, in front of 40,000 people this Sunday, this could be a start of something very, very special.
And Siggy Schmidt, they handled that crisis well, and Seattle's come out unscathed and look to be a very dangerous team. But without a doubt, the team to beat is the defending champions, Brian. Finished second in the West. Real Salt Lake opened some eyes on the international stage in the CONCACAF Champions League. Why is this team as dangerous as they are?
Well, they've been dynamic, and they've been dynamic for a good year and some now. And along with that dynamicism, they have now a center forward presence. So if a team's going to come up and press them, they now have the ability to go straight. And winning second balls, their midfield just really has a great movement about them. If one goes out wide, the other one covers for each other. They're very tough to play against, and they can break you down in different ways.
Okay,
Who are you picking?
I've got Real.
RSL? I am too. Great minds.
That's the only higher seed you have picking, because in your bracket things are going cuckoo. But I let the cat out of the bag there. We'll get back to that a little bit later. Make sure you join us for the post game here, because we'll be touching on that. Sorry about that one, Alexi. But anyway, we'll be back. Guillermo Barros Esqueloto, a frustrating first half, so a lot of flags go up. Hopes to get his team back on path. Second half with JP and John coming up next.
In soccer, so often, a single act leads to victory or defeat. It can happen anytime, anyway, anywhere. All it takes is one moment in the MLS Cup playoffs.
First of two legs, and Colorado gets to host this first one, and the Rapids are up 1-0 thanks to a goal from their captain, their leader, Pablo Mastroeni's first ever playoff goal that came in the 24th minute. Here's a recap of the first half.
Well, it was a good first half from the Colorado Rapids here. Another turnover, which doesn't have to happen. You see Pablo Mastroeni circled there. He plays the ball off, and then he runs just a little bit in behind Brian Carroll. Here's the ball from Cummings, and the great run to the near post that opens up that space. And you see Connor Casey again here. Look at Frankie Hiddick. He's already out of position as a right back. He's not in there, tucked into cover. Now the two center backs get stretched because you see Iro has to go out wide to press the ball. Then run to the near post by Connor Casey's excellent. He brings Marshall out of that space as well. And there's a free space for Pablo Mastroeni to make the darting run very late from the midfield.
Look at those shots as we show you the first half stats presented by Volkswagen. If you're the Columbus Crew, you're not going to do well in this game. One shot?
No, they've got to do a lot more to threaten the goal. And if they're going to bring the best out of Matt Pickens, well, you've got to take strikes. You got to have a chance. And they're just not getting the rhythm of play either, JP. I think that Colorado's done enough to disrupt their momentum. In that first 15 minutes, I thought the Crew did pretty well, but then it changed completely.
First of two legs, we said it's total goals. Is one enough for Colorado, knowing that they have to play in Columbus next week?
Well, I don't think it is, actually. I think they've got to get a second one here. But I think that the Columbus Crew are going to get back into it. Too good of a team not to.
Gavin have to protect the ball better. So many unforced errors, so many giveaways by them in the first half. Here's Cummings with that speed. The shot! Wide and Greenbaum. Columbus Crew fans watching this one can breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, again, you know, question marks about, you know, the work ethic, but also the responsibility of keeping the ball. Here's Cummings, picks up a loose ball. All the space in the world to have a strike. He doesn't make contact. Well, at least he makes good contact, but what he doesn't do is put it on the frame to test Andy Greenbaum.
Columbus Crew looking for this ball. It's Brian Carroll, who won an MLS Cup, back with DC United. Back to Greenbaum.
You just got to look at the team, and you got to think to yourself, how fatigued are they at this point, Columbus Crew? Because Colorado Rapids are pretty fresh at the moment. And then there's the altitude. When you're tired, you know, JP, it does make a difference. I felt it here as a player when we played in Colorado. It was always a little bit of different preparation work, and it's hard to adjust sometimes.
Haydick will move it back to Chad Marshall. Ekbo. Carroll, Ekbo, now to Haydick. Upfield, Schelotto, who needs to become more of a factor here. He's their best player.
Well, he is, but he's not going to help if you've, you know, great build-up from Columbus Crew. It's a lot better there, possession with the ball. But there's that final pass that's not connecting. Robbie Rogers letting that ball run under his feet. That's better from Rogers.
And a nice return. Rogers trying to get loose on the right and cross it. He does. Headed up by Moore. Lenhart was there. Pickens knocked it away. Great job against Lenhart, who his teammate Schelotto said yesterday is one of the 5 best forwards in the league in the air. That's high praise. Pickens had to be strong there, though, on that challenge. This is Kimura on the throw, and he had a very good first half. Lenhart, Schelotto. Columbus trying to move it quicker. Schelotto intercepts, tapping it in. It's sent it wide by Rogers. Lenhart was also up there. But a little more determination by Columbus at the start of this half.
Well, you see the ball falling here for Schelotto. He tries to lead Robbie Rogers. He doesn't get his hips around the ball. Strike it across the goal, but it's good pressure from Drew Moore. He's right there just to hold him off. So he kind of got hurt in his knee. He still had Robbie Rogers was able to get up after that, but Kimura was down away from the play. There he is. He's still limping a little bit.
It's the second time he's been down in this game. The ball belongs to Colorado. They have a 1-goal lead on Pablo Mastroeni's first ever playoff goal that came in the 24th minute. But you saw the shots, 10-1 for Colorado in the first half. Columbus, fortunate, John, that they were not down by more than one.
They were. And, you know, there were times where I thought Colorado failed to really make the most of their opportunities. And hanging on to that 1-0, it's good. It's great to have it. You're at home here. You still need to go away into Columbus and win in their stadium. You know what their fans are like. They get behind their team.
Not an easy place to win.
Definitely not.
Kimura. Laurentowicz. He won that fight. Mullen. Teasing ball in. Casey just missed. Thompson goes after it. Wells Thompson inside. Casey against Iroh. Back out to Mastroeni. Towards Wallace. Tackled out by Rogers.
Well, it's a good ball by Brian Mullen. I mean, 32 years old and number 11 on the right side of midfield, but he's playing like he's 22. He's all over the pitch. There he is again.
Back to Laurentowicz. Wells Thompson. Those two teammates with New England. Down the far sideline. Snuffed out by Columbus. Rogers, Hayden. Another ball given away. Wallace blocked out of Hayden for a corner.
Well, it was good work by Robbie Rogers to get back. He shields, he steps in front, anticipates well, steals the ball away from Wallace, gives it to Frankie Haydick, and then just a miscommunication. There's no understanding the connectedness in there. I'm sure Robert Varzija, right there in your picture, the head coach, is thinking to himself, come on, we've got to clean it up. It's got to be better.
Fourth corner kick for the Rapids. 26-year-old Wells Thompson in the middle. That's Laurentowicz, but it's high.
It's an excellent ball by Thompson. Laurentowicz, you know, coming late. He's sitting on top of the 18, and he always provides a threat. He's looking to find the game a little bit. There it is, the ball just in behind. I think it was Eddie Gavin that was marking up on him. Now stay with your players. Set pieces are very dangerous. They can win you games all the time.
His 6th year in the league. First year here came in the Corey Gibbs deal. Laurentowicz left New England. First time under Stevie Nicol that they did not make the playoffs. And Laurentowicz comes to Colorado and they did make it. And you had Mullen in the same boat. Houston's always in the playoffs, and this year they didn't make it. So it's somewhat of a strange year in Major League Soccer when you see teams like New England and Houston, normally contenders, not even make the playoffs. Quickly played on the right. Kimura. For Mullen. Mullen's cross again. And I think Pablo Mastroeni stopped his run.
Well, he did, and he didn't expect it. What a great ball it was from Brian Mullen. Just enough, he creates a space for himself. The ball played out of the back here from Kimura. Watch how he just teases his ball in behind the defense. Excellent ball.
Why can't Columbus close that down?
Well, they seem to be a little bit in disarray. Their shape, everything about it. They're not getting pressure on the ball up front either. The two strikers, Lenhart and Schelotto, are not doing a good enough job of making play predictable. The outside midfielders are getting overlapped way too easily. And plenty of number of options are coming forward from Colorado. It's hard to stay with their men.
Rapids have this throw-in. ESPN's MLS Game of the Week is brought to you by Continental Tire. Innovative technologies, driving confidence. Up for Cummings, he chested it down. He wants Mullen. That's broken up, but look who follows it up. Cummings. Knocked away. That's a big-time play for Chad Marshall.
It was a huge play, and I thought Cummings should have picked his head up a little bit earlier. He had Brian Mullen and Connor Casey away from the ball towards the goal. Could have switched the point of attack.
Nice switch there, then Gavin stumbled. Mullen took care of the rest of it. Ekbo in the middle. Emmanuel Ekbo going forward. Nice ball, right side. An opportunity. Rogers in for Lenhart. It's blocked. Schelotto! He could have tied it. It was on his right foot where he wanted it.
Well, he should have tied it. Drew Moore does an excellent play. He breaks it up. Watch the pace, the athleticism of Ekbo opens this game up. Here's the service from Robbie Rogers. Great defensive play, but that ball falls to him there. It's bouncing, yes. It's hard to get over it, but a man of his skill, Schelotto should do better and hit the frame. Easily should do better.
He said he still wants to play at least another year, then he'd like to get into coaching. His contract is up. He said if Columbus does not pick up his option, he understands that, much like a Juan Pablo Angel situation. But he said if he doesn't play for Columbus, it would be Columbus's choice, that he would still want to play for an MLS team.
Right, and you just saw, you're talking about Schelotto there and what his options are for the next year. Interesting that Matt Pickens, the goalkeeper, did not take any of the goal kicks or the free kicks there. He had Wallace come back and take it for him, so I wonder if he's struggling with some type of injury.
Upfield for Lenhart. Tap back. Long ball over the top, and Rogers stopped because he thought maybe there was an offside going to be called. MLS Cup playoffs officially begin here tonight. We're covering game 1 of the Rapids Columbus Crew series. It's a best of 2 legs, total goal series. Right now it's Colorado on top on a Mastroeni goal with John Harkes and JP Delacamera. We have in studio tonight Max Bretos, Alexi Lalas, and the recently retired Brian McBride. Thompson to the left. Casey continues. Knocked away by Andy Iro. Throw in for Colorado. Thompson. Kept his balance for Casey. Advantage call. Leads it. Blocked. Cleared by Francis. The tap back to Gavin from Schelotto. In the middle, it's Ekbo. On wide to Francis. Tough ball for Schelotto. Right idea, but the ball wasn't close enough to Gavin. But Schelotto's always thinking one play ahead.
Very well done right there from Colorado. Drew Moore having a good game. Playing out of pressure, it's very important to keep possession of the ball. Now they're all the way down the other end of the half.
And quickly, too. That one's deflected. Headed away by Marshall. Ooh, another giveaway. Laurentowicz from Mastroeni. Thompson. Wells Thompson holds there. Right side, Kimura. Rapids keeping possession here. That ball didn't have enough on it, but Colorado still escapes. Mastroeni. Inside, Casey. Still has it. Was disrupted there.
Better work. That's better work from Robbie Rogers. Coming back in and stepping in front of Casey to disrupt play. This is where Columbus Crew can be dangerous on the counter.
Laurentowicz takes over. Cummings. Whoa. Carroll. It's an advantage call. Here is Casey. Cummings going to quickly. Casey goes near post, and that's high. And now Carroll, I think, is going to get booked. Yes, he is. That was a good advantage call to not stop the play there.
Well, it's a very reckless challenge from Brian Carroll as he comes in late. The wrong side of the ball. Cummings looks like he's got the pace, momentum to go forward and attack that back line. So it's a very important tackle. Takes the yellow card, takes one for the team.
I was surprised he got up as quickly as he did. It looked worse seeing it live. Throw it for Colorado. Let's take a look at our MLS calendar. Some nationally televised games coming up. Real Salt Lake versus FC Dallas. That's Saturday on the Fox Soccer Channel, 5 Eastern Time. And then you've got New York versus San Jose on Telefutura at 10 Eastern. New York struggling a little bit with some injuries. Thierry Henry, we're told, won't be playing in that game. And they have other injuries as well.
He hasn't contributed well for me, being a DP this year. But they played well without him. So New York, complete turnaround from last season.
Thompson leads it for Cummings. Casey in the box. One cut, still has it. Tapping it back, good ball back. Mastroeni from distance, drives it wide.
Great work by Connor Casey. Good control under pressure there. He couldn't find the open space. All he needed was half a yard to get the ball off his feet, get a shot on goal. Chad Marshall stepping up to close him down. And then here's the strike from distance from Pablo Mastroeni. He and Jeff Laurentowicz, the 2 center midfielders tonight for Colorado, can do that anytime. It's good clearance there from Pickens. If you noticed, he's kicking everything left-footed, JP. He has certainly picked up an injury that's going to change the way he distributes the ball. It also affects the game.
Cummings and Francis, nice job. Anytime you win a ball or knock it out one-on-one against Cummings, you've done your job.
Well, it was good from Sean Francis. He stepped up and he closed down that space. He didn't allow him to turn as much. He got a good tackle.
Laurentowicz. The first of a two-leg total goal series. Colorado leads 1-0. Mastroeni has the only marker. Thompson. Tackle up the middle. Rogers for Haydick.
Well, Thompson and Brian Mullen are really getting wide around the back of Columbus Crew. It's giving them some huge problems.
It's the first time we've seen Haydick go that far up the field, and maybe we'll see more of that here as Columbus tries to get level with Colorado.
They seem to be kind of stretched all over the place, Columbus Crew. When they do win the ball back, it's almost like they're recovering from all that hard work at defending.
Well, Haydick made a run. Ekbo didn't see him. He comes all the way back to Francis, and Columbus gives it away.
Sloppy play from the Columbus Crew.
Robert Barzia knows that, a gifted player. When he played not just in Major League Soccer, but for the Polish national team. Played for Everton, for some other good clubs in Poland.
Yeah, he can't be happy so far with the performance of his team tonight. He knows they're much better than that. And that's better pressure from Steven Lenhart. That's what needs to happen. Well, it didn't happen in the first half. But the pressure from the strikers, he and Schelotto, that's not really his characteristics. He doesn't want to chase and defend. He likes to be a free-form, like, kind of creative player going forward.
Schelotto needed that ball to be higher. Mullen knocked it away. Haydick picks it up. Outside, Rogers. Emmanuel Ekpo on that Nigerian Olympic team in 08. It's lost again by Columbus. Bracket-wise, you've got New York versus San Jose, also in the East, Columbus, Colorado. What do you think of that New York-San Jose series?
I think it's going to be an interesting one. San Jose still getting some good momentum. Frankie Yalop talking about, okay, they lost the game to Kansas City away, but he said it's already buried, it's put behind him, he's ready to go out and compete. And New York doing so well this year. Dane Richards, surprise play from him, he's doing very well. Joe Limper, pretty solid throughout the whole team.
You had picked Chris Wondolowski, too, as your MVP, right?
Yeah, it was a tough one because there's so many good players you could have thrown in there. But I think with 9 game-winning goals out of his 18 goals that he scored this year, you talk about a valuable player, what he means to that club, the organization, he's put them into the playoffs in a good position.
I had picked him as well. We'll find out about the award winners later. MLS announces various winners at various times, and we'll give those to you.
And it's not just the 18 goals, it's what he did for his club in a short period of time, too. Coming off the bench, playing different roles, midfield, as a striker. Frankie Yalop has to figure that out. Where's he going to play Wondolowski against New York?
Kimura on the right. Hard tackle again by Francis, who's out of Lindsey Wilson College. That's an NAIA school.
Yeah, he's done okay. I mean, he was a bit, his nerves were there for a first-year player. You could tell. His inexperience in the playoffs hasn't been there. So Colorado Rapids, they want to get after these guys. They want to take advantage of it if they can.
Mastroeni. Francis, now it's Thompson. It's blocked out. Another corner.
Excellent play by Paolo Mastroeni. Show a little skill. A step on the ball, a little spin here. When you're a youth player, they call that the Diego Maradona. Great ball for him.
It leads now to this 5th corner kick for Colorado. Driven in by Thompson, the header coming across the goal frame, sent right back towards Casey, deadening it. Good right side Thompson.
Great ball by Connor Casey.
Knocked away, Wynn. Marvell Wynn holds it, end line, blocked out, 6th corner, Colorado.
We see him more determined than ever. Marvell Wynn, the 22, playing center back tonight for Colorado. Was picked up from Toronto FC. Again, another club probably scratching their head. Why did we let him go? But a very determined run, basically barreling through players there. But Loreno, which might have picked up an injury on that last play. Another good ball. They had twice excellent driven balls to that back post. Ball by Wells Thompson.
64th minute, still a 1-goal lead for Colorado. Wells Thompson out of Wake Forest, a program that has produced many players for Major League Soccer. It's knocked out of play. Being thrown for Colorado. Mullen. Push back to Laurentowicz. Under some pressure, lost it, but recovered it. Win to Kimura.
You see Thompson out on the right side. He and Brian Mullen have switched in the last 5 minutes here.
Marshall sweeping it away, intended for Cummings. It goes out between the benches. Jeff Laurentowicz holding on to his left wrist. And that happened right before one of the corner kicks that was taken by Colorado. So you wonder what happened there.
Well, it looks like he's in pain, and it could have been just here in the collision, the way he fell.
When he landed?
Yeah, the way that he planted there, you could see it.
That's a tough one for one of the game's tougher competitors, Laurentowicz. Neither team has gone to their bench for a sub at this moment. You would think at some point, John, that Columbus might want to do that to change things up. It's their throw-in. Francis will take it. 66th minute. Cummings. Wow. So much skill. Fun to watch. Thompson cutting across the grain on Ekbo for Laurentowicz. The tap to Kimura, the cross, knocked away by Marshall. Schelotto tried to play that quickly for Lenhart. He takes the tumble. He drew the foul.
Well, they're lucky they got a chance to get a free kick out of that because it was a poor ball by Schelotto again. He just pops it up in the air for Steven Lenhart. A little push in the back from Drew Moore, number 3, center back for Colorado.
Hayden moves it over. The Gavin pass. He'll get it back. Eddie Gavin, 208 regular season games he's played, despite the fact that he just turned 24.
Well, the thing is, too, you know, he's playing like an attacking midfield role centrally. Now he's like outside left, but dropping very deep. He's not high enough up the field. He should be a higher option, so he can get in behind the back of Colorado. When he receives it, he's being closed down way too early.
Reese subs up for Columbus, and they are both attacking players. Jason Gary is one. Andres Mendoza is the other. The preliminary report indicates that it's Lenhart and Schelotto that would be coming out. Free kick is coming up here for Columbus. And now we're going to see the subs. Lenhart out. Jason Gary in. And then there's going to be another sub as well. It's time to take a look at tonight's substitution. It is fueled by Gatorade. So your thoughts, John? Schelotto coming out, Mendoza coming in.
Well, he hasn't played well. He hasn't contributed, to any success going forward. It's been difficult for him because Colorado's played very well. And he and Lenhart, non-threatening in the first half, didn't get many shots on goal. They got to change it up somewhere.
A double switch by Columbus. Carroll will have this free kick. Mendoza scored a goal against Philadelphia last week. Gary's got a couple of goals this year, but you've got fresh legs here. Can't hurt. Gavin is over the ball. Gavin will take it. So no more Schelotto, John, on free kicks, corner kicks, or penalties if it came down to a call in the box.
You can see already Eddie Gavin ready to take on that responsibility now.
Schelotto said yesterday that the altitude would not be a factor, and he said to me yesterday, legs were not tired. He said mentally it's more fatigue than physically.
It's always a combination of both, and got to be strong in mind to get through the tiredness.
Here's Mullen. He looks like the game just started. Inside for Casey, and it's deflected away. Corner kick, 7th-1.
At times, you see the fans getting into it here. Brian Mullen really pushing the game on, driving, getting after it all the time. Excellent work rate from him tonight. But at times, I also look at Columbus Crew, and I think it's almost like they're just hanging on, doing enough just to not have a goal scored on them.
Who snuck in the Vuvuzelas tonight?
You can hear him reminding you of South Africa in the World Cup.
Greenbaum swung at it. He's got to get back in goal because Cummings has the ball. Or does he? He let it go out for a corner. 8th-1 for Colorado. In the 70th minute. They're trying to get more goals. It's a total goal series. They're just not finishing. But they're certainly not protecting a 1-0 lead. Wells Thompson will take it. Driving it in, that's flicked away. Mendoza brought it down. Up for grabs, headed up by Gary. It's got turnover again. It's Mullen. Greenbaum stops that. Hayden on the right. Rogers. Mendoza's up, so is Gary, and they're running hard and strong. The new sub sets off. Let's see. Off Colorado.
Yeah, Kimura getting his head on that one. But Robbie Rogers using his pace to get out wide. Keep an eye on Mendoza, though, the sub that came in. He and Jason Gary, to number 9 and 10. Both of them trying to stay very high, push the game a little bit to get back into it, get the equalizer if they can.
Gavin will take another corner in the absence of Schelotto, who was subbed out. Just the 3rd one for Columbus. Driven across. Marshall is there. Carroll. Easy play for Pickens, and 2 Columbus players are down in the box. And Pickens will just roll it out. There's the 2 subs. Yes, Gary and Mendoza.
I think it might be.
Oh, it's Iro.
Andy Iro, yeah. He was going in for the second ball that was laid back in there from Brian Carroll. Sort of like a searching, kind of hopeful ball, just sticking it behind Colorado. But both of them colliding with each other in that last play.
English Premier League returns Saturday morning. Blackburn takes on the defending champs Chelsea, 9:55 a.m. Eastern Time. EPL presented by FIFA Soccer 11 on ESPN 2. Iri's going to come over to the sideline. We'll take a look at him. Wants to go back out there. Waiting for Jair Marufo to give him permission. Mendoza will give the ball back to Pickens, show good sportsmanship. Drew Moore the other way, and back on the field is Andy Iro. Last year, Columbus lost that first leg on the road, 1-0. Lost the second leg at home, 3-2, so a 4-2 aggregate. If they come out of this game 1-0 down, it may not be so bad. But there's still plenty of time left.
See the pressure being stepped up there. It was a good win by Brian Carroll first on Connor Casey, with Wells Thompson doing well to close down Robbie Rogers.
Colorado will have a throw in for Casey. Laurentowicz from Wallace. Moore. It's headed away by Marshall. Throw in again for Colorado.
You see at times Omar Cummings, the number 14, is drifting out wide. He's pulling the center back out of that position, that comfort zone, which opens up play for Brian Mullen on the opposite side of the pitch. And also the late surging runs from the central midfielders. Jeff Laurentowicz and Pablo Mastroeni on the ball there.
Mullen, 1 against 2. Cummings tried to leave it. Francis knocked it away. Wallace is back on it.
Drew Moore, number 3, very solid in the back tonight for Colorado Rapids, not just in terms of digging in and closing down, but also his distribution.
Colorado has a sub up. Mac Conchi, who came over in the Mehdi Bellucci trade with the New York Red Bulls, will come on for Wells Thompson. It's the first sub for the Rapids.
Wells Thompson coming off the field, put in a very hard-working, honest effort, linking up, going forward. Kanji coming in, offers a threat. New York let him go, and still trying to find his best position. Kanji, I think, can he be a wide midfielder or is he a striker, out and out?
Well, now you have Kanji with Cummings and Casey, and at times this year, late in the season, Gary Smith used the 3 of those players in a 3-pronged attack. Other times, Kanji would play if Cummings wasn't there when he was on international duty. Upfield, it's knocked away, but a foul on Mastroeni. Free kick here for Columbus.
Eddie Gavin will be the man on the ball for Columbus, taking his free set piece. You see the man that usually takes it, Guige, on the bench, Scalotto.
Eddie Gavin is over the ball. Ball is back 10 yards and a whistle. Gavin sends it in there. It's headed up. There's Pickens, a one-hand punch, but with authority. Kanji running strong. Into space, too far. Arena Bomb will get it.
Well, it's a great idea from Kanji. You see him, how strong he is when he holds off the first challenge. Ball a little bit too heavy in terms of trying to find Brian Mullen.
Greenbaum was the first MLS goalkeeper to start an MLS Cup playoff game after not playing a single minute during the regular season. Right now, they're looking at Pickens.
Well, here's Pickens as he gets tested again in the box. There's the flick on header from Marshall. And the one-time punch from Pickens. He just wants to clear the area. Got a little bit of a nudge underneath. Someone collided with him there. Seems to be okay. He's up.
Greenbaum now will toss it in for Hayden. Long for Mendoza. And the Rapids all say he handled it, and that's what Jair Rufo says as well. Mendoza's a Peruvian international, came late in the season. Long for Casey. Then for Kanji. Intercepted, cleared by Francis. Hit a goal out of play. Gary Smith's Rapids up by 1 on a Pablo Mastroeni goal. Their last playoff win in 2006, 4 years ago today. Mastroeni leaves it for Kanji. Into space, Francis cut it off. Mullen stays right with him.
Well, he gets a throw-in out of it just because of the pressure. The attitude of Brian Mullen's been excellent tonight.
Kimura. Nowhere to go. It's Columbus ball. MLS Cup playoffs continue Sunday on ESPN2. LA Galaxy headed to Seattle to take on the Sounders. Game 1 of that Western Conference semifinal. It's Halloween night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN2. Galaxy had no trouble with Seattle during the regular season, but in the playoffs, when you look down the stretch, John, Seattle was probably the best team in the league from midway of July to the end.
Well, yeah. I mean, they actually went 10-2 when Freddie Lundberg was moved on to Chicago. That opens up the personality and the space of a Freddie Montero. But the addition of Grufo up front, the Swiss international, really changed the game for Seattle. That's going to be a tough battle.
It is.
Seattle-LA. Seattle with the home crowd, everything behind them.
I still think they have to do something with the playoffs because LA wins the Supporters Shield, and for their efforts, they have to play the first leg in Seattle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything came up for discussion this year because of the 6 teams getting, you know, 4 on the West getting the wild cards to the most points. Only 2 teams from the East this year went through the playoffs. So 6 from the West, 2 from the East, and now you start jumping all over the place like Real Salt Lake did last year. They went through as the last team on the Eastern Conference side.
Yeah, and they win it all.
It's a lot to explain.
Eddie Gavin with his free kick. A curling ball in, a teasing ball. It's cleared out to Kanji. Gavin tried to out-hustle him, and he did. Mendoza finds Gary in the box. The pass was deflected across. Carroll drives it. And that deflected wide of Pickens. That could just as easily have been a goal. And what's this discussion about?
Well, they're saying it's a handball on Anthony Wallace. The strike from Brian Carroll, excellent technique. But again, the giveaway from Kanji he came in as a sub to number 10. He gives the ball away. There's a scramble. Players are stretched. You're out of position. Now he's trying to recover as quick as you can. They're asking for the handball.
It's a corner kick. It's going to be given. 4th one for the Crew. Trying to get level here, 84th minute. It was intended for Marshall. But even though Schelotto's not serving it, the targets remain the same for Columbus. A foul there, another free kick.
Irresponsible right now from Kanji. He's come in as a sub. You're supposed to be a responsible player off the bench. He's not given he's given the ball away in poor spots, and now he commits this foul. Lack of discipline from him. That could be the difference right here for the set piece. All it takes is one to equalize. It just takes that set piece, someone to get on the end of this ball.
Two in the wall for Pickens. Gavin is on the ball for Columbus. Back post area. Knocked down. Carroll played it back. Ekmo fires it low. That's blocked as well. These shots for Columbus not getting through. Gavin, curling ball, and that one had Pickens twisting. It's Colorado's ball. 82nd minute, first of 2 legs, total goal series. Colorado leads on a goal by Mastroeni. Carroll is another player hurting here.
Well, take a look at that strike, and here is possible handball from Anthony Wallace as he turns away. I think he handed it, actually. You couldn't see it from that angle. Possibly the referee could not see it either, obviously, or he would have made the call. But it did look like a handball from there.
2 more players down. Schelotto's probably saying, why didn't they foul when I was in the game? All these free kicks. What's happened to Colorado here with their discipline late in the game? Meanwhile, Kevin Burns is ready to come in as Columbus' final sub. Not yet, though. Gavin, another free kick. That's cleared away, but if you're Colorado, you can't afford to continue to give these away, even though Schelotto's not in the game.
No, you can't, because it's just adding more pressure there to the defensive back line and all the players. But Drew Moore, Marvell Wynn, they've got their heads on both last set pieces. So they're defending well, but you're saying they're taking more of a risk now. Giving the ball away. Here comes the substitution right now. Looks like Brian Carroll coming out. JP.
Yep. Kevin Burns will replace him, so you get the fresh legs in there. Gavin's ready. drives in. Iro, big save, Pickens, saving the game. And there's contact in the box, but it goes against Columbus. The save of the game for Matt Pickens, who is third in MLS this regular season in saves made. That saves his team.
Well, you're not going to get many other opportunities like that. A one-on-one situation with the keeper. Ball gets played in. Andy Iro, the number 6 for Columbus Crew, is right in the middle of the goal. The header comes. It's straight at Pickens, but his quick reaction, he does so well just to keep that ball out. And here's an angle here from behind, and this is what Matt Pickens is seeing from Andy Iro. Kanji again on the wrong side of the ball to number 10. Look how he leaves Iro. He's supposed to be marking him. Poor marking again. Wow, they are taking a chance right there with Kanji. Andy Iro gets up really big here on the replay. That commits a foul. Drew Moore steps into number 3, and he takes a kick to the face. There's where the foul gets called.
When you make subs, you want them to have an impact.
Absolutely. At this point, I take Kanji off of Andy Iro. I put somebody else. Drew Moore, you mark him. He's more responsible.
Gary for Mendoza. Columbus showing a lot of fight here in the end, trying to get that equalizing goal, which could be devastating for Colorado. They have another sub up, Julien Baudet. He was a defender. Up for Casey. Trying to find Cummings.
Well read by Chad Marshall, and it needed to be because Colorado doing a great job of stretching the field, making it big and opening up the spaces.
Towards Gary. Columbus are all finished with their subs. Colorado's only made the one change, but they're getting ready to make a second. They want that experience of Baudet to settle things down in the back. We'll see who's going to come out. Gary Smith wants to make that change. Francis, too far for Mendoza, back to Pickens.
I could see Baudet come into the back line, maybe Marvell Wynn switch out to the right. Kimura, remember, he picked up that injury in the first half. I think they're keeping an eye on him. He's done well tonight.
Matt Pickens. Again off the left foot, long, too long, intended for Kanji. Gavin by the sideline, loses there. Kimura. It goes out, throw in here. Quick one for Columbus. Time is against them. But a better second half for Columbus. And I would even go further, John, to say maybe a better last 15 minutes. One coach is very unhappy at the moment. It's a Columbus throw-in. Mendoza looks for it. Knocking it inside. There's Pickens. And again, Colorado flirts with danger.
I think if you go back to Gary Smith was having to go, the fourth official saying you saw that it was really not a Columbus throw. He wants to get Baudet in. He thought it was a Colorado Rapids ball.
Pushed up by Pickens. Cummings trapping in front of his coach. Took a bump there from Francis. Physical play on the sideline continues. Long ball, too long for Mendoza.
It's getting choppy out there. Some late tackling going on. It's scrappy. Teams fighting for it. They know it's at stake here.
Second leg, November 6th in Columbus. Right now, when you look at all the stats and the way this game has gone, if it ended up 1-0, Columbus, they'd be unhappy with their performance, but not with that scoreline, not considering the way they played tonight. Here's Cummings. Marshall. Sent long by Burns. Right side, Kimura. All the way back to Matt Pickens. Colorado trying to move it ahead to Kanji. Soft pass there. Mastroeni back to, oh, that was dangerous, and then Wynn played it back. I got to tell you, that might be the first misplay Camore's made tonight.
Well, yeah, the other thing is, too, though, Columbus Crew are trying to force a little bit more error on Colorado Rapids, just stepping up, closing down play, and they're forcing the ball back to the keeper a lot. And we already talked about Matt Pickens. His right leg is already injured. He's hurt. He can't distribute the ball righty, so he's uncompromised now. He's hitting everything lefty.
That was Camore's last touch.
Yeah, I thought he would be the change.
Baudet comes in. Frenchman is in his second year. Missed a lot of time due to injury this year. The last several games, but now he's back in. Mendoza. First of 2 legs, and it's Colorado up.
I will say one thing, though. You want to get fresh legs on, but as a center back coming on late in the game, it's hard to get really comfortable, the fast pace of the game, and be sharp. That's a very difficult position to sub.
And they move Wynn, you're right, to the right side as the right back, as you had speculated. So Baudet's in the middle now with Moore.
Baudet has to keep an eye on the number 10, Mendoza, who was a second-half sub. He and Jason Gary pushed up high for Columbus Crew. Mendoza scored last week against the Philadelphia Union.
A little extracurricular there. Burns having a word with Casey. And Columbus played the ball quickly. Colorado got caught. Mendoza. Wynn trying to break it up. Has some help. Baudet clears. Long intended for Kanji. Greenbaum. Will now play it there. Stoppage time, 3 minutes. Columbus looks to get that equalizer. That's how much time they have left. Ekbo. Kicked off. Casey for Kanji. And Kanji has some help. Cummings to his right. Lead pass, Cummings in the box. Trying to cut that ball, didn't have much arm, but he got a corner.
And that's better from Kanji. He leads him in. He kind of says, I'm sending a message to you, Omar. Get forward. He lays it right down the line. Great ball in and just broken up by Columbus Crew.
Commissioner Don Garber, many dignitaries, including Stan Kroenke, who owns this team and also a very big man with Arsenal. Enjoying his team back in the playoffs, first time since 2006. Double figures now in corners for Colorado.
You hear the vuvuzelas, the crowd getting into it here. Beautiful stadium. It's been a good evening for Colorado so far. Brian Mullen taking his time for this corner.
It's the best atmosphere I've heard and seen at a Colorado game that we've done. Mullen inside, it's deflected. Bodies went down. The locals wanted a call. Wynn with a reverse flick back to Pickens. Second minute of stoppage time. Colorado has been a better team tonight. You would think by more than a goal, but they only have that 1-goal lead. Mastroeni had it. He has the ball. Taken away. And then he takes down Rogers. That's got to be a yellow card. J.M. Rufo running after him to make that presentation.
They held on to the ball too long, Pablo Mastroeni. He got stripped by Rogers. Rogers' pace. There was nothing else he could do but to pull him down.
Second booking.
The very important foul, though. Very important foul because he was gone. Looked like 2 or 3 players were joining in the attack with Robbie Rogers there.
Third and final minute of stoppage time. Not many more chances for the Crew. Gavin inside. That was Casey. Francis floats it in. Pickens comes out. One-hand punch again. It's headed over him. Drew Moore cleared it. Oh, I thought he did. They're saying it's a goal kick.
Wow, chaos. Everything late coming now from the set pieces, and this ball put back into the dangerous area. There's the punch, but what's the header? Does it come off the post? It does come off the post. Very close to the equalizer. Drew Moore, the closest man to the back. He looks to clear it there, and I don't think he gets enough on it, if anything at all.
Matt Pickens will put it back into play.
Yeah, but Baudet's going to take this free kick again because Pickens did injure himself throughout the night.
This could be the last kick of the game. We're beyond the 3 minutes of stoppage time. Jay Marufo may have added a little more. Yep, that's it. Game over. First leg goes to Colorado.
Well, they held on for the win tonight. The pressure came from Columbus Crew late in the game. You saw last week, Real Salt Lake equalized 2 goals very late in the game. So they have to be happy that they held on for the win tonight. It was enough.
The stats will be in Colorado's favor, and what we saw in the field, they were the better team over 90 minutes, but Columbus came on strong in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Well, they revved it up a little bit more, and the energy got better. They were still disjointed, I thought, tonight throughout the match. And Colorado Rapids, you have to give them credit, because the front men, Connor Casey and also Omar Cummings, did enough to move off the ball really well. Matt Pickens coming up big. He had to deal with a lot in the box tonight towards the end. He came out strong, made some great punches. You know, a lot of the team sticking together. It was a hard work from everybody from the Colorado Rapids. They all stuck in. Here's the near post run from Connor Casey, and the ball from Cummings to the back post. Pablo Mastroianni getting the only goal in the game tonight. His first goal in the playoffs for the Rapids, and their first time in the playoffs since 2006.
Fitting for the captain to get that. Matt Pickens getting the shutout. His best save was against Andy Iro. So there are the Colorado Rapids, knowing that they've got a 1-goal lead heading into the second leg, which will be November 6th in Columbus. That's what they have to look forward to. But they win the first leg as we go back to the studio. Max Bredos, Alexi Lalas, and Brian McBride are standing by to take it over. Guys?
Thank you, gentlemen. 4 years to the day of the Rapids' last playoff win. They'll be happy they won it. They certainly feel they could have got a lot more. Columbus will be happy they didn't leak anymore. It's all poised for the second leg. Brian McBride, Alexi Lalas with me, Max Bredos. And I guess the question here, who is happier, Brian? Columbus because they didn't relinquish more, or because Colorado didn't add more goals in that second half?
Well, I'm sure Columbus is disappointed with the result, but not because of the way it was played. I'm sure they came in the game thinking they wanted to win, but to come out of it with a 1-0 loss, you know, they can now go back, the win by two goals, and be fine. But it's still a lot ahead of them. Omar Cummings and Connor looked great today. And second half, they figured a few things out.
Certainly did. Now, Columbus, how do you see their effort here in the second half, escaping a little bit here at the end of the day?
I think Columbus is happy. I think Columbus is happy. 1 goal, I don't think it's enough for Colorado. I think when Colorado goes back in and says, yeah, we combined well and we played well and we deserve more, but it's only 1 goal. Now you got to go back to Columbus. It's difficult. We said 1 goal, you got problems. 2 goals, all right, you're okay. And 3 goals, you have absolutely no excuse. So 1 goal, I don't think it's enough right now, especially the way Colorado played. Can they replicate that and continue to do that? Because Columbus is going to go back home and fix the mistakes. And there were plenty of them, and they're lucky they didn't get hit more on those mistakes.
And didn't get anything from their leader, Guillermo Barros Esqueloto. This game, I don't think we're going to see on a DVD of classic MLS playoff games anytime soon.
It's not going in the capsule.
No, it's not going in the time capsule. All right, let's stay in the East, and of course that means a trip to San Jose, California. I'm having a lot of fun with these Eastern playoffs, but San Jose taking on the New York Red Bulls, who reign supreme in the Eastern Conference, and they would like to certainly push their weight around here, Brian, but they're going to be shorthanded heading into this game, and frustrating certainly that we won't see Thierry Henry again.
Well, sure it is. I mean, he's a great player, but, you know, they've played a lot of the season without him, and I think they've got a good core. Defensively, they're very strong. Tim Ream has been a great player for them, and I think they can still cause a lot of problems in a small field, in a field that's going to be a lot of quick plays and quick decisions.
Rafa Marquez, for me, New York is much more important than Thierry Henry. Right now, for me, Thierry Henry is a luxury that New York has. They don't need him. They don't play incredibly with him. He doesn't add a whole lot. So right now, of course, they'd like to have him there, but like I said, it's a luxury. On the other side, not a lot of people give San Jose a chance. I am actually picking San Jose with the upset against New York. What Frank Yallop has done over there, just quietly plodding away. And of course, you can't talk about San Jose without talking about the wonder kid, Chris Wondolowski, the Golden Boot winner. And if he keeps up that streak, good things can happen for San Jose.
Getting a lot out of a little there, and we'll talk about Chris Wondolowski later. And I love your upset bracket. I'm loving it, and I have a good, you know, I'm feeling good.
I got to keep it interesting for you.
It is. It's been interesting, and we've only had 1 game under our belts, and that's just in the East. Over in the West, this is going to be good. LA taking on the Seattle Sounders, a game you can see on ESPN2 Sunday at 8 Eastern. The Galaxy, the Supporter Shield winners, they head to Seattle to take on Steve Zakuani in the first leg of their Western Conference semi-final. The Galaxy won both regular season meetings, outscoring Seattle 7-1. And also, the defending champs in the West. First leg of the semifinal between Real Salt Lake and FC Dallas kicks off Saturday at 5 Eastern. RSL hopes to join DC United in 96 and 97 and Houston in 06 and 07 as back-to-back MLS Cup winners, Dallas, meanwhile, in search of its first playoff series win since 1999. It's been a wait for the Colorado Rapids in the playoffs. The same can be said for Dallas. They'll look to get full value from this. We look at these playoffs, Alexi, and an intriguing matchup, maybe of the four matchups, the best one we'll see in Seattle. LA and Seattle, two teams that come in the playoffs with all hands on the pump.
Yeah, we talked about before. For me, when you're talking about Seattle, you have to talk about the speed. And right now on the outsides with Zakuani and Niasi, incredible speed, continuing to go at places, go at players outside. And what's going to be interesting to see is how LA adapts to that speed, because LA actually likes to have space. So once a game gets spread out, which sometimes happens when you have guys that are very, very speedy, LA likes that because they counter, they go through Landon Donovan and do all those sort of things. So just because you have speed doesn't mean you go all guns blazing and leave spaces in the back. So Seattle's going to have to play a very, very smart game. Use the speed that they have, but don't get stretched, because that is all about LA's game.
And LA doesn't want to fall in that trap and play Seattle's game. Where does LA have an advantage where they can maybe get Seattle to find a chink in the armor in these Sounders?
Well, I think their shape has been great. Bruce is always emphasizing the shape, the team shape defensively, the team shape going forward. They understand each other. I think no matter who's playing, whether it's, Jovan or a player sliding in up top, everybody understands their job. They understand Edson's going to win most of the balls. He's great at holding the ball up. Landon's going to play underneath, and they're going to get width. They're going to create their chances, but, Seattle has done well, and it's at their place, and it should be an exciting game.
Certainly looking forward to that. And again, you can see it on ESPN2 in Real Salt Lake and Dallas, a game that will be played on Saturday, the first leg down there in Frisco. A busy sports night, not only on the MLS playoff scene, but also a little thing called the World Series. And the Giants have busted it open 9-0 in Game 2. And another great performance on the mound from Matt Cain. Last time, I'd like to thank John Zoney for getting this stat for us. Last time Giants up 2-0 in a series in the World Series, 1954. Remember Willie Mays' catch?
Oh, yeah.
Remember waking up that day and getting ready to tune on the radio?
Like it was yesterday.
All right, so the Giants in the driver's seat. This series will move over the weekend down to Arlington. Top 25 football as well. Raleigh Durham.
Max is disappointed.
What are you guys talking about? I don't even know the score. Florida State down 7-0. Christian Ponder reaching for the pylon. That'll tie the game. It was reviewed. And after second review, it was determined he hit the pylon. So it's a touchdown. 7-0. Seminoles take a 21-7 lead when Christian Ponder finds Willie Halstead. And it's looking good for Florida State to improve to 7-1. Third quarter, here comes the Wolfpack. Russell Wilson, soft in the belly, in the middle of the park, ties the game at 21. Fourth quarter, NC State trailing by 3. Russell Wilson hits Darrell Davis. He'll take it to the 1-yard line. The Seminoles will hold them to fourth down. NC State goes for it, and they'll go in front. Frustration there for Mark Stoops, the defensive coordinator for Florida State. Funny how I know all the quarters' names for Florida State.
They're amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? I did my research. NC State scored the touchdown. It's 28-24. Do I have to do any more of this? Don't look away, Florida State fans. Ah! Christian Ponder fumbling it inside the 5 under a minute to go. And NC State gets a huge win in the Atlantic Division. 28-24.
It's okay.
Just so we have transparency, I went to University of Florida State.
Watch it on TiVo tonight. Maybe there'll be a discount.
All right. Well, I saw it all there. Much more to come. Lexi and Brian will continue our look at the MLS playoffs. Colorado win at 1-0. Matt Pickens and company and the Rapids get the victory, but will they win the series? Time will tell. They certainly should have added a few more goals. Columbus will be happy in defeat. 9 days until the second leg in Columbus. Not this, but the following Saturday. A lot of stories in Major League Soccer. Chris Wondolowski of the Earthquakes wins the Budweiser MLS Golden Boot, scoring 18 goals to finish one ahead of the LA Galaxy's Edson Buttle. Wondolowski had scored the last 10 goals for the Earthquakes, setting an MLS record for goals scored consecutively by one player. Let's look at some of the award finalists. Edson Buttle, David Ferreira, Chris Wondolowski on that list. Alexi, do they have the right three, and who do you like winning?
I like Edson Buttle. I like Edson Buttle. Look, I think that it's most valuable, and to me, he is the most valuable. And also, I think that not if you put a microphone in front of him, but if you wake up every coach in MLS in the middle of the night, shine a flashlight in his eyes, and ask him, who would you rather have, Wondolowski or Buttle? They will say Buttle, including Frank Allen.
Alexi will do that, by the way. That's the new way of getting to the bottom of this. Is that the right guy, Brian?
I'll lock my hotel door. You know, it is for me. I think Edson's led them from the very beginning, set the tone for LA. Put him on that run. Without the World Cup break, it might be different, but that's not to discredit what Wondolowski has done. He's done amazing things, and I think David Ferreira is shown in that system for Dallas. He can be so dangerous, and it's a great honor to be in that running.
Landon Donovan made some comments that the Golden Boot was rightfully Edson Buttle's, and while he was at the World Cup, that's when he lost it. It should be residing in Edson Buttle's mantelpiece. What do you make of these comments?
You know, it's Landon talking. I mean, it's his teammate, so I understand it to a certain extent. It's certainly not a punishment to play in the World Cup, and Chris Wondolowski actually showed a lot of class this week when he was asked about it, where he said, you know what, I would trade the Golden Boot in a second to be able to play in a World Cup. And who knows, in the future we might see Wondolowski, because I think the bigger question with regards to Wondolowski is, are we seeing the emergence of a great American goal scorer? And, you know, it remains to be seen. Still an incredible story, an incredible year for him.
As a goal scorer, and you saw Chris and what he achieved, a great season, but is he ranking there amongst the elite forwards this league has to offer?
Well, you can see he's in a flow. I mean, anything he was touching, it was going on frame at least, and sometimes just perfectly in the top corner. You know, when a person feels that, you just feel the confidence, and players realize that. They try to get them the ball, and look what he's done.
Yep, and he's taken advantage of it. He's going to be in the playoffs. The San Jose Earthquakes hope to ride that hot foot through them. MLS Rookie of the Year, and this was another cracking rookie class. Danny Mwanga with all the talent. Andy Nahar, as a teenager, he'll be one to watch. Tim Ream, though, seems to be the guy that did the most right things this year, there, Brian.
Yeah, I think Tim's got it for me. Not just because he went to SLU. Playing against him in the
That's
first...
why he has our vote.
Playing against him in the first game, the opener, you could see his calm and his poise. In such a big game, you really got to think, you know what, a person coming out of college, he's ready. And he showed that throughout the whole season.
And you hit it on the head. Showed it throughout the whole season. We've seen time and time again where young players, especially players coming in from college, get into the league, they look great, it's phenomenal, and then boom, down. Nothing like that. He continued, he played consistently well, he made the plays, and as Brian said, he showed composure beyond his years, and that's something that's very, very rare. When he won the ball, he didn't panic, he didn't just hit it up, he found a player, he was always looking for those opportunities, and the amount of times that he won the ball cleanly and maintained possession was pretty impressive. So for me, it's Tim Ream.
He was put in a tough spot with all that attacking prowess on the Red Bulls. He was there to anchor the defense and did a pretty good job all season long, and those other two guys very talented as well. Coach of the Year, very deserving trio on this list: Hans Backe, Schellas Hyman, and Jason Kreis. Here, Alexia, it's tough, but who gets the nod?
It is tough. It's tough. All worthy candidates. For me, it's Hans Backe. Worst to first. And we've talked so many times about foreign coaches coming in the league, not understanding the system, not understanding the intricacies and the uniqueness that we have here in MLS. He came in, he understood it, he used the people around him. He was smart enough to retain people like a Richie Williams to work him through what he didn't understand. So for me, it's Hans Backe.
Brian, who gets your vote?
For me, it's Schellas. First of all, I don't think Jason Kreis gets enough credit. From what he's done at Salt Lake is pretty amazing.
You can only have one.
A victim of his own success.
I'm just saying, and Hans Backe has done a great job, but Schellas has actually molded this team, and with not many new additions, and put the right system at the right time, and he's got everybody believing it. He's a guy that will get his players playing day in and day out.
Schellas Hyman also a situation here where he probably could have lost his job a couple of times over the last 2 years. They stuck with him, and it's paid off for FC Dallas. They're headed to the playoffs. So there's some of the awards that we'll be keeping an eye on down the stretch. We heard these two men's opinion. Much more happening in the MLS playoffs. The LA Galaxy and Seattle Sounders, the Supporter Shield winners, will be in the Emerald City, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. And keep your eye on that one. And the Galaxy would like to get out of Seattle unscathed. We'll continue our coverage and wrap things up here. Colorado win it 1-0. Certainly not satisfied with what they were able to do. Columbus with plenty of hope, and they have the second leg in their place. We end our coverage with some sad news. The English-born Paul the Octopus died of natural causes Tuesday. You might remember Paul picking all of 7 Germany's World Cup wins and Spain's victory over the Netherlands in the final. His successor has been named. Paul, a French Paul, his replacement. On that note, very good sushi place down the road if you guys are hungry right now. No? Okay. Brian McBride, thanks for joining us. Alexi Lalas, you can see him on Sunday in Seattle as the Galaxy
here I come.
on the Sounders. And the final score here, Colorado beats Columbus 1-0. We'll see you Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN2. It's Game 1, Seattle and the Sounders taking on the LA Galaxy. Coming up next, Sports Nation.